Today, Baba is giving us a very nice direction that we should imbibe goodness but not be impressed by goodness. Yes, so do you have the sanskar of being impressed? Yes, so many people have the sanskar of being impressed, you know. Now, the thing is, when you are impressed by somebody, then your intellect stops working. So being impressed is like, it casts a cloud on your clarity of thinking and discernment. So it is not a good idea to be impressed by anyone, because the truth is that, anybody can have some goodness, but then not anybody is perfect right now. Yes, so every soul has many aspects. Yes, so every soul has variety sanskars, and they may be good at something, but they may be very bad at something else. And so, it's very important to understand that at this moment, everyone has good and bad both. Okay, so even if you see something very bad, never forget that this soul has something good to offer also. Yes, so don't get affected by that, that bad aspect of the soul. And then if you see something very good in the soul also, don't get impressed by it, because you must hold in your awareness that, okay, this is the good aspect, but then there could be some bad aspect also, because nobody is perfect right now. And what happens when you forget this? Then, you start be working under the impression that this is a great soul, and then what happens is you kind of surrender your intellect to that soul, and whatever they say, they do, you start following blindly. Yes, and then what happens is you are deceived in the end, because every soul, you cannot surrender to a soul. If you surrender your intellect to a soul, you will be deceived in the end. So Baba says that's why, when you see some goodness in someone, then imbibe the goodness. You should understand that this is a good quality, so I should imbibe this goodness in me. And for that, you must know that no goodness is exclusive to anybody. Yes, have faith that you can be as good as you want. So any speciality, any quality, anything that anybody has, you can also have that. But you cannot have that from them. You can have that from Baba. And if you just, try to practice that quality by taking it from Baba, you will become an embodiment of that goodness or that speciality or that quality also. So, why we get impressed? Because you think there is an assumption that you cannot do what somebody else is doing, or you cannot have what somebody else is having. But no, you can do whatever you want. And but you cannot have that or do that by being impressed by that person. You cannot have that or do that by being jealous of them also. Because sometimes, when you see something special in somebody, you get impressed, and sometimes you get jealous. So both these methods are not the methods to imbibe what they have. Yes, so I remember there was this one sister, and she was telling me that she's very jealous of her sister-in-law because she has the art of, presenting things in such a manner that everybody gets convinced. And when she tries to convince other people, she's not able to. So then I said, and by being jealous, can you become like her? No, you can't become like her by being jealous. So why be jealous? Your point is you want to become like that person, right? So you can neither become an embodiment of that quality by being impressed, nor can you become like them by being jealous. You can become like them by belonging to Baba. So, whatever you want, the source is Baba. Take that from Baba. You want to improve your, some skill, some talent, some speciality, the way you talk, the way you do things, your stage, everything Baba will give you. But you don't have to be impressed, you don't have to be jealous. So Baba says, notice, sometimes when you see a goodness, you feel like imbibing it. So just know that, when something attracts you, then you have this idea that, okay, I want to be like this. And then instead of being impressed by the person, take that from Baba. So, and you know what? The thing is, when are you impressed? When you don't know the source. Yes, for example, you go to a magic show and then you are very impressed by what they are doing until you know how they are doing it. Okay, so once you come to know how they are doing it, you're not impressed at all because you know that this is the formula and anybody can do it like this. So, similarly, Baba says, now you know the formula that, Baba is the source and anybody can take it from the source. So, do you believe that you can become whoever you want? When you can become a deity, then why can't you, have some skill or some speciality in Kali Yuga? So that's not a big deal at all. So Baba says, when you know the source, you are never impressed by, somebody who has taken it from the source. So you see, Baba is the source of all talents, all virtues, all specialities in the world. So, whatever anybody has, it has all come from Baba. So, we have to understand that whatever you want, you can take it from Baba and you can also have that quality, speciality, or virtue. So, don't get impressed by anybody. And I think, this being impressed is because of a weak intellect. So, you see, an intellect which is not, powerful, it gets impressed by others. Yes. So in the meditation also, I was talking about the gift of the divine intellect, and Baba gives us this gift of the divine intellect. And the more you understand knowledge, the more you remember Baba, your intellect starts becoming divine. And do you know that Baba tells in the Murli that in the golden age, we will not need advisors. Yes. So in this time, you see, there is one prime minister or president, and then there is a cabinet of advisors advising him or her. Okay, so Baba says that in the golden age, the king and queen will not need advisors. They will be able to discern and decide on their own. So, you will be capable of making decisions on your own. And here in Kali Yuga, there is this tendency to, to not be able to decide on your own. So, these days there is this whole culture of counseling, receiving counseling. So, other people are telling you what to do, what to choose. Okay. So, even if, you are choosing a career, then other people are telling you, which career to choose, which friend to make, what to think, how to address your issues. So the thing is, can other people make better choices for you, or you yourself? Do you understand that nobody can tell you what to choose and what to do, because nobody is you? Yes, nobody is you. So if so, Baba teaches us, who you are. Baba teaches us how to remember Baba. Baba teaches us how to purify ourselves. Baba never tells us, or if you ask the Nimit, if you ask me that, which career should I choose or what should I do, I will not tell you the answer to that. Because that's not my place to decide. Because you see, I'm not you. My sanskars are not your sanskars. We are very different. And if I tell you what to do, I will tell you from the place of what I am doing. Okay, so I will tell you, I will suggest to you what is right according to me. But is that right according to you? Nobody knows. Yes, so that's why Baba says that, this intellect is very important, because in the lack of a functional intellect, everybody is asking other people what to choose, what to do. Yes, and it is only through knowledge and yoga that this intellect changes into, a decisive intellect, a powerful intellect. Baba says, from a stone like intellect to an intellect that's powerful and, paras buddhi, Baba says, divine intellect. So Baba is the one who changes this intellect. And without that, you cannot decide on your own. And if you can't make your own decisions, then you will be, so there is always this vulnerability of being influenced, of being impressed, because you're not thinking on your own. So, anybody who is around you and has a more powerful intellect will impress you. Most people don't even know that they are impressed. Yes. So most people don't even know that they are impressed, because when you can't make your own decisions, when you can't think on your own, then what happens is your thoughts are coming from someone else and you are impressed by them, but you don't understand that I'm impressed by them, because your intellect is not functional right now. So you see, so that's why, and you see, when we have a functional intellect, we are only impressed by Baba and Baba's teachings, and by nobody else. And if you are impressed by a human being, then you will be deceived sooner or later, because human beings are not telling you the truth. They are telling you from their experience and their journey is not your journey. Their truth is not your truth. So only Baba is telling you the truth. So Baba says that it is very important to listen to Baba, to have yoga with Baba, to imbibe the knowledge that Baba is giving, so that you have a functional intellect, you have a powerful intellect. And that intellect will not be impressed by any other intellect. It's not that if you don't want to be impressed, you will not be impressed. No. An intellect that is weak will be impressed. Yes, I will tell you one thing. So there was one incident. So there was one Kumar, and he was in Baba's Gyan, and he had love for Baba also, but he was not very, very regular or very dedicated in his practice. So he was a little careless, and then he had, of course, according to Baba's teachings, Baba says remain celibate. So he had this thought that I will live with Baba and I will be celibate. But then once he went home, and he had a teacher from school, and that teacher was very, very influential. So he had a lot of influence on the students in during his school days. So then that teacher, he caught hold of him, and that teacher had been asked to counsel him by his father. So, the father knew that this teacher has an impression on him, that the father had told that teacher to talk to him when he came. So then the teacher told him that, uh, you know, you should get married. And the teacher said, you should get married. And if you don't get married, tomorrow you will repent because you will be on your own. And being lonely is very sad. Yes. And so that thing, it's stuck in his buddhi. You see, he's hearing Murli every day. But that Murli didn't sit in his buddhi. That one thing the teacher said, it sat in his buddhi. Okay. And then he got married. And then later, one day he told me that that teacher was living alone. He had lost his wife. His wife had died, and he had two children who had settled abroad and never turned back and looked at the father. And that teacher was leading a lonely, miserable life himself. But his words that you will be lonely if you don't get married hit this soul. Why? Because he couldn't even see through, that his what are his words and what is his life. So he was so impressed, he was so under the influence of the teacher that he didn't even, he couldn't get the murli, he couldn't see through, what he's talking. And then he got married. And then after he got married, he had some problem with his marital life. And then he wrote a letter to Baba saying that, that was a very big mistake I made because I was impressed. Yes, but then we told him that don't say I made a mistake because now you want to escape because, this is another mistake. So now you have created that karmic account, now you settle it. Okay, so now don't again, go into I will run away and I made a mistake and I want to make it right. So this is how it happens. So we don't even know how much we have the sanskar of being impressed. And that happens because we have a weak intellect. And Baba always says that if you have enough power of knowledge and yoga, and power of knowledge and yoga doesn't happen on its own, even if you listen to the class, if you don't churn on it, no power of knowledge. You will do exactly the opposite of what is being told in the class. Yes, because, hearing doesn't translate into action. Churning and imbibing translates into action. So whatever Baba is saying in the Murli is Baba's knowledge. Whatever I'm sharing in the class is my understanding. But in order that you imbibe it and it becomes your understanding, you have to churn over it. You have to think about everything and come to a decision that you agree with this and you believe in this and you don't believe in this. So Baba says that you have to fill yourself with the power of knowledge, with the power of yoga, so that you're not impressed. And I have seen, when you're impressed, you can't even see that what a person is saying and what they are doing are two different things. There is this saying, actions speak louder than words. But I have seen that people cannot see actions, they only hear words. Yes, ask yourself this question today. Do you see or do you only hear? Or can you see everything, or do you only see that much which your limited intellect is allowing you to see? And that's why there are so many people who are impressed by praise. Yes, and they don't even understand that this person is praising me, but they are not my well-wishers. So, there are so many people who have mastered this art of praising you on the face, but not being your well-wisher. They don't share your goals. They are not your well-wishers. They don't have the same purpose as you. but they were so sweet with the mouth that you can't discern that, because you are very impressed. So just ask yourself, do you have the sanskar of being impressed? And I have met very few people in life who are unimpressed. And I will tell you, I always say this in the center, that I have rarely seen somebody who doesn't fall for praise. Praise looks sweet to everybody. You can fool anybody with praise. It could be the president of a country. You go and praise that person, they will be fooled by it. Praise is such a thing. And not being impressed by praise, not being impressed, that's a quality, right? That's a goodness. And you are impressed by that act. Not being impressed by good hospitality, very difficult. So why don't you learn hospitality? Why are you impressed by it? Why are you impressed by praise? Why don't you learn, how to be sweet? So Baba says, don't be impressed, because being impressed by human beings is going to end up in being deceived. Yes, so that's why Baba is warning us today. But what you have to pay more attention to is that you will be impressed if you have a weak intellect. And you will not even know, because when the intellect is weak, you cannot discern what's going on. You cannot discern that you're impressed. Okay, so you are impressed with sweet talkers, you are impressed with praise, you're impressed. Some people are impressed with good intellect, somebody giving you very good logic and argument, you're very impressed. And then you cannot see that the person is doing exactly the opposite of what they are saying. And then you don't, you fall a victim to their agenda. So this is what Baba is warning us against. And then Baba today tells us that we souls are souls. And Baba says, if we engage in spiritual business, we will become viceless. Now, what is spiritual business? So what you do matters. Okay, so it's not like you kill or be kind to somebody doesn't matter. No, actions matter. But more than that, the consciousness in which you do everything, that matters more. Yes, so what is your awareness? What is your intention? What is your stage? That matters a lot. And most people are doing very ordinary actions: eating, cooking, earning, taking care of children. That's what everybody is doing mostly. But when you're doing it in body consciousness, it is creating a karmic burden. Yes, because where there is body consciousness, there is fear, there is anger, there is attachment, there is everything. And so if you technically see, no, most people are not committing any sin on purpose. Correct? Everybody wants to be a good person, and most people are not committing sins on purpose. And yet we are all falling. We are all becoming vicious and vicious every day. Why? Because we are doing everything in a body conscious state. When you're body conscious, you are, lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed is driving all your actions. Yes, you're taking care of children, but with attachment. You're going to work, but with greed. You are dealing with each other, but with ego. So, there is a lot of exchange of, I am elder and I am senior and they are junior, or I am junior, they are senior, and lots of thoughts and feelings are going on. Or, you are, there is this thoughts of lust going on because you think you are a male or a female, or, you are young or old or this or that. So all of this is giving rise to a lot of sin, and it is it is creating a sinful karmic account, and it is also making you vicious day by day, because these thoughts, these vices, they are gaining momentum as you come into action according to these vices. Now Baba says, you live in the family, you go to work, you take care of children, but just be soul conscious. Yes. My work, no. Yes, you're not going to work for yourself. Baba will take care of you. You're going to work for Baba's seva. Yes, so Baba has put you on that service to, to give souls the experience of peace, love, joy that you're having from Baba, and also earn money which you will use for Baba's service. So have that attitude. Make everything spiritual. And when you are with children, know that they are Baba's children. You are a trustee taking care of them. Yes, so Baba says that you must understand that you are an actor. This is a stage and you are playing a role. Yes, and you have to impress the director, not the co-actor. Okay, so you are just doing everything for Baba, and it doesn't matter, who feels what or what's happening or what you gain or lose, because your connection is with the director. So you take directions from Baba. Go to work as Baba wants you to go to work. Treat children like Baba wants you to treat them, as souls with love and respect. And, look at everybody as a soul, because Baba wants you to look at them like that. So Baba says, just know that don't get caught up in the role you're playing, because, or, the body that you have, all of that is given to you in trust. Just like, when an actor goes on stage, that actor is given props. Okay, so these are your props, and the actor is given a context in which to play their role. So this is your context, these are your props. Just play your role. Don't become conscious of the context. Don't become conscious of the costume. Yes, don't become conscious of the props that are given. Just play your role according to how Baba wants you to play it. Yes, and if you think this is my wife, and you treat them as the wife, then maybe you will not do justice or create a lot of sin in that act. But if you think this is a soul, then the way you will interact with the wife will create good karma also, and that soul will also be happy, and your relationship will also improve. So Baba says you have to keep doing this until you settle your karmic accounts. Yes, so in the beginning, when you treat your husband or wife like a soul, they will not like it. Yes, because there is a karmic settlement. But eventually they will like it. Yes, because in the initial times, they will not be able to feel what soul consciousness is making them feel. But every soul is capable of feeling peace, feeling purity, feeling respect. And slowly, gradually, they will be able to feel it. And then that karmic account will get settled. So, this whole thing about, initially, I remember when I started working with the attitude of being a trustee, then, there were many problems that came, because I did not have access to office information and this and that, and I was not engaging in gossip and other things. But slowly, gradually, I came into harmony with nature, and then, whatever I had to know came to me automatically. So I was not missing out on anything later. So this spiritual, so in the material world, functioning as a spiritual entity, being in soul consciousness, doing everything in Baba's remembrance, and minding the what you say, the boundaries that Baba has set for us. So if you keep doing that, if you become lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed free, and do everything as an instrument, then initially there will be some hindrance because there are karmic accounts to settle. But the more you draw in the power of remembrance from Baba, these karmic accounts will get settled and you will come into harmony and you will start operating in this world very smoothly as a viceless soul. Yes, so, and you will also start attracting karam sambandh, those who help to move, to make you move ahead than those who pull you down. So, all of this will start happening, but you have to, where do you begin? You begin by considering yourself to be a soul and doing everything in a soul conscious state. You are not role conscious. It doesn't matter who is in front of you. You take directions from Baba and behave as Baba wants you to behave, with the five elements of nature, with responsibility, with every soul, in a detached and loving manner. Not engaging in any pull of their expectations of lust or anything. So this is how Baba is directing us to be, and Baba says, when you behave like this, you will become viceless. And so this is all. There are many points, but let's finish it here. Om Shanti. Anybody wants to share anything, please do.
Om Shanti, Didi.
Om Shanti.
Sometimes we are also impressed with our co-workers and those who take care of us, pampers us, help us. And generally it happens in familiarity only. And Baba says that keep spiritual attitude throughout the day and maintain your peace and that status of soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanti. Yes. Anybody else? Hanji, Sasibal.
Yeah. What is the difference between appreciation and inspiring? Kind of. We need to appreciate when things go good, right?
So, appreciation and impressed, or is appreciation and inspiring?
Like if somebody does a good job, if they show some improvement in whatever they do, so we have to appreciate, not inspire. We have to appreciate for them to do good.
So you see, it is not a very good idea to always appreciate. Yes. So I think, so in my experience, give them the credit when it is time to give credit. Okay. So if somebody is doing something good, then, let's say somebody cleaned the house and then somebody came and said the house is very clean, then you can say, yes, this person cleaned it and they are doing their work with dedication. But, always appreciating, I don't believe in that. So give the credit when it's time to give the credit, but don't keep appreciating always, because, that also gives rise to subtle ego.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes. So don't, and inspiration is through your own actions. So when you do something, then the one who is seeing it is getting inspired. Yes. For example, if somebody is, not wasting their time, then even if the other person is not speaking and telling that, I'm very inspired by you, they are also inspired to not waste their time. Yes. So through your own actions and behavior, if your actions and behavior is virtuous, you are automatically inspiring everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and also if you keep appreciating, as you said, like we don't encourage their duty. It is their duty to keep wherever they are clean. So if you keep appreciating, then it doesn't make sense. They do it only for our sake then.
Correct. So don't keep appreciating, but don't forget to give credit when required. Because, sometimes what happens is Not appreciating means taking away the credit also. For example, somebody is appreciating it and you don't even mention. That's not okay. So you mention that this is done by them. But don't keep appreciating always, but also don't keep doing the opposite always. Sometimes you think that, appreciating will lead to ego. So keep telling them, you are not good enough. So this is a mistake you made. So don't keep pointing out the good things, but don't keep pointing out the bad also.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's also there. Because some people believe in the opposite also. Keep beating them up for little things and then they will get better. So that also doesn't work. Okay.
That's true, sister. I do that most of the time.
So stop that also. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So let's thank Baba for some time. I sit in the awareness that my Baba is the bestower of all goodness. Every good that exists in the world is Baba's creation. As I see goodness, I imbibe it from Baba. My Baba is the ocean of all virtues, making me an embodiment of all virtues. Just sit with these thoughts for some time.